At the heart of Hegel's philosophical system lies a dynamic method for understanding the evolution of ideas, the dialectical process. This isn't just a method for argumentation, it's a model of reality itself. For Hegel, all development, be it in thought, history, art, or society, unfolds through a structured pattern: thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. But it's important to clarify, Hegel himself never explicitly used those three terms as a formula. That terminology was popularized later by interpreters, most probably Fichte and Marx. What Hegel actually shows is that every concept inherently contains its contradiction, and through the struggle with that contradiction, a new, more developed concept emerges. This movement can be seen clearly in the phenomenology of spirit, especially in his discussion of consciousness evolving through stages. Each stage of consciousness confronts its limits, giving rise to a new form of knowing. Let's look at one of the most foundational passages where Hegel describes this self developing logic of thought. The life of the spirit is not the life that shrinks from death and keeps itself untouched by devastation, but rather the life that endures it and maintains itself in it. It wins its truth only when, in utter dismemberment, it finds itself. This is vintage Hegel. Truth is not something static, it's something that becomes real through contradiction, negation, and eventual resolution. Truth unfolds historically, and knowledge is a process, not a fixed end. Hegel applies this to history itself. In his view, world history is the unfolding of the world spirit through time. Civilizations rise with a particular thesis, say Greek democracy, which is later challenged by a contradictory form, like Roman authoritarianism. The synthesis might appear in something like modern constitutional monarchy or liberal democracy, integrating the strengths of both and resolving their tensions, at least for a while. The dialectical method is not merely about resolving opposites, it's about recognizing that contradiction is essential to growth. Unlike classical logic, where contradiction is seen as failure, Hegel sees contradiction as the engine of progress. Every concept, such as being, reveals an internal instability, such as nothingness, and the resolution, which is becoming, is a synthesis that retains both while moving forward. A famous example from the science of logic illustrates this. Thesis would be pure being, antithesis would be nothing, and synthesis would be becoming, which is the transition between being and nothing. This isn't just abstract play, it's a structural view of how reality itself evolves. Reality isn't a static substance, but a self developing totality driven by negation and contradiction. From an analytical perspective, Hegel's dialectic stands in contrast to earlier rationalist models like Descartes' clear and distinct ideas, and later empiricist ones like Hume's bundle theory. Where Hume fragmented the self into impressions and denied unified identity, Hegel insisted that identity emerges through struggle and mediation over time. He also break away from Kant's dualism between phenomena and noumena, arguing instead that reason and reality are not separate but inherently intertwined in a dialectical unity. Critics argue that Hegel's dialectic can be overly abstract and sometimes retroactively justifies historical events as necessary, even when they were oppressive. Marx, for instance, famously turned Hegel on his head, claiming that material contradictions, not abstract spirit, drive history. Still, the dialectic remains one of the most powerful intellectual tools in philosophy. It influenced not only Marxism, but also existentialism, postmodernism, and systems theory. Even today, thinkers use dialectical reasoning to understand conflict, change, and transformation in politics, psychology, and beyond.